Congratulations on finishing the personal information and the academic history. We know that these sections are complete because you have a complete green circle. Now we are moving on to supporting information. And you can see that there are two sections. Now, for some of you, you will only see one section, which is EOP information. Others of you will have two sections, including associate degree for transfer, if you indicated at the beginning of your application that you are earning a transfer degree at Crafton at any other college. So in this example, I am an engineering major, but at Crafton, I have been pursuing the transfer degree in mathematics because it's the same classes I essentially need to transfer as an engineering major. So I went ahead and added that I am receiving a transfer degree from Crafton Hills College in mathematics at the beginning of this application, and so it just pre-populated it. Again, if you did not state you're getting a transfer degree, you won't even see this page at all. So again, anytime you see an asterisk, you must complete that section before moving forward. And so here it's asking me for my Crafton student ID number, and it should be a 7-digit number. Now, under California Community College ID, there is no asterisk, so you do not need to worry about adding that information. This is your statewide ID number, which most students don't even know, and we don't use it at Crafton per se, so you can just put in your regular Crafton student ID number, and that is fine. You can leave this blank. Now it's asking when I either completed my transfer degree or when it's anticipated to be completed. And in my case, I'm actually finishing in fall of 2020 as an example. So the fall semester ends in December, so I'm just going to go on ahead and include December 2020 as my date. Now this last question is asking if you will receive a second transfer degree from, in this case, Crafton, and my answer is no. But if it was a yes, you want to go ahead and include Crafton again and the new program. In this case, I could be also receiving a physics transfer degree as an example. But I'm just going to indicate no, save and continue. Continue to next section. Embedded in the CSU application is your opportunity to apply for the Educational Opportunity Program, or EOP. Crafton has a similar program through EOPS. It works a little bit different at the CSU, but there's a lot of similar components. If you want to know more about whether you qualify for EOP, you can click on the link to learn more questions about the program and to even connect to campus resources. So what is EOP and what is its primary goal? EOP seeks to improve access and bachelor's completion for low-income, first-generation, and historically disadvantaged students. It does this by providing you support services such as counseling, specialized orientations, a summer bridge program, additional financial aid, special admissions considerations, academic advisement, and additional tutoring, as well as career services. I want you to notice that you can come back and edit this section after you submit your application, and that there's an applicant help desk center that can guide you through the rest of the EOP questions. All right, so are you currently enrolled in an EOP program? If you answer yes, you will get a drop-down menu and you can choose Crafton, or if you're currently attending another community college, you would indicate that there. If you're not currently in an EOPS program, just go ahead and click no. Do you wish to apply for the Educational Opportunity Program? If you say yes, you will get additional questions that you must answer. If you say yes, I will return later to complete these EOP questions. The advantage to this is that you can submit your Cal State application by the deadline, in this case being August 31st, and then you can take a few more days or up until the deadline for your Cal State to come back and continue working on the EOP questions, or you can simply not apply at all. But we recommend that if you fit the criteria up here, that you apply to the EOP program to get that additional support to help you complete your bachelor's. If you've attended a CSU and were enrolled in the EOP program, so yes or no previously. In my case, I've only been at community college, so no. And then you just keep answering the rest of the questions as it applies to you with regards to high school and your college years. I was not in Avid or Upward Bound or Talent Search. I was in the Puente Project at another community college, for example, and I was in it for 1 year. I was not in an independent living project, but if that was you would answer yes, right? And the numbers of years you participated in it. I was not in Mesa. I did do Gear Up for 1 semester. And in this case, I'm going to put 1 year. Okay. So if it's less than 1 year, I would recommend just adding 1 to that. Some questions about your family. Where do you plan to live while attending college? Are you planning on living on campus in transfer housing with your parents, or at an off-campus apartment that you rent on your own or with your family or other? In my case, I'm going to be living with parents. I have 2 siblings currently attending K through 12, and it's only myself attending college, so I'm going to say 0 because I have no siblings in college. How many brothers and sisters received a bachelor's? In my case, none. I am the oldest. And what languages are spoken in your home? Spanish and English. In the past 10 years, have myself or my family received any income from CalWorks, which is known as Cash Aid or Welfare, CalFresh, TANF, Social Security and Disability, yes or no? In my case, it's no. I've also have not participated in these publicly funded programs, housing programs. And yes, I do contribute for 1 sentence response to this, but you can again go as lengthy as you like. Please make sure to read these important reminders, such as that you can submit your application and then come back just to complete this EOP application. And if you choose that option of applying to EOP after you have submitted your main application, you must return to the dashboard and click on the blue Submit My Changes button in order for your updates to be received by the Cal State Apply staff. Save and continue. I am ready to continue with my EOP application and enter my parent or guardian information. You want to include your name and their occupation 10 years ago for parent 1 or guardian 1. If you like, you can report a second parent or guardian here, or just 1 parent is sufficient. These financial questions are meant to determine low-income eligibility. You must also follow it up with a FAFSA, or the Student Federal Aid, or the California Dream Act. Please note that parental income information is required of all applicants. Even if you are considered independent, they still need this information from your parents. Your total income is based on an adjusted gross income and untaxed income. And the universities may choose to request documentation to verify the information that you provide on here. It does say estimate or actual amount, and an estimate is a very close approximation. They will want this information for parent 1 for 2019 and 20. As you can see, parent or guardian 2, there are no asterisks on there, so you can leave that blank, especially if you only indicated a one-parent household up above. The total size of your parents and guardian in your household, including yourself, your parents, or if you have children and any other dependents. Here's a question that allows you to answer whether you are independent of your parental support. So if you don't live with your parents and they don't provide parental support, as well as you claim independent on your taxes, you can click here yes, and it'll bring up a whole nother set of questions. If you click no, you can save and continue. Okay, yes, I am ready to continue with my application. So now it's time for biographical questions. The point of these questions is to determine your level of motivation and preparation to be in college work and to complete your bachelor's degree. You want to be as concise as possible because you're limited in words and characters, but you still want to make sure to add enough detail so they can really get a firm understanding of your unique situation and circumstances as it pertains to these questions. So the very first question, briefly describe your family's economic background, including information about your financial challenges. I added a quick example, about 516 characters or exactly 100 words, something simple but enough for them to understand my situation. My mother and I immigrated to the U.S. when I was 7 years old. She learned how to sew piece clothing and has been a seamstress since then. My stepfather's an electrician, has his own business. However, my parents are going through divorce and my mom only makes about 25 to 30K per year. I am now working a part-time job to help with the bills. I estimate to make an additional $10,000 per year. It is tough since my parents separated, but we have a lot of family and church who help us get through these rough times. Something simple, but I think it gets to the point of my economic background situation and fully answering the question. But again, you can add more detail if you like. As you can see, the additional questions are also required. Please discuss the reasons why you would like to attend college, as well, including your personal goals. I added a quick example. Again, it's short, but with enough detail that I think answers the question and conveys my motivation. I continue to answer the rest of the questions, and I'm leaving them here for you to read over them and use them as an example as you complete your own questions. When you are done, save and continue. I mentioned earlier that you will be required to include 2 recommendations. One recommendation must be from an academic, counselor, or teacher that can comment on your academic preparedness for university academic work. The second recommendation can be from another individual who can comment on your potential to succeed in college, such as a community member or employer. Family member recommendations are not accepted. Please provide at least 2 weeks for your recommenders to complete the recommendation. Click on this blue button to add a recommender. You want to add your recommender's contact information here, as well as the EOP deadline based on the campus that you're applying to. Or you can give them a sooner deadline to make sure that they have it completed. You may you have the option of writing a personal message here, such as thank you. I really appreciate you completing this recommendation. If you waive your right to access the recommendation, means that you will not be able to see what they included. If you do not waive your right, means that you have access to reading your recommender's comments. Permission to contact your recommender, you must click that so that the Cal State can send them a link to the recommendation. And permission for schools to contact the recommender. Once you check those, and to complete this information, save this EOP recommendation request, and they will email your recommender a link to where they can complete the recommendation. It is usually a set of checkboxes about your potential, your writing potential, your ranking, your academic success, etc. And then there's also a text box entry where your recommender can say some really nice things about you. Okay, we are ready to save this recommendation and move on. We're going to open or create a second recommendation because remember, you must have two. My second recommendation is for my pastor. I do a lot of volunteering work, so I think that he is a good person to talk about who I am as a person and what my potential for success is. So I'm going to save it. And I now have a minimum of 2 applications. As you can see, my EOP went from 2 sections to 5 sections, and they all have a check mark next to it. I am now done with supporting information.